This is my 1974 Chevy Nova. It's the pitting that's on the hood. Had a bunch of leaves piled on top for years, I guess. So decomposition, acidity probably resulting pool of water just ate right through the hood. But hopefully it didn't go all the way through. The engine compartment, lots of leaks. Everything's pretty much dried out. All the gaskets and rubber, so I have to replace all of that. But for all the leaks, it seems to preserve the upper portion of the hood. Kind of a double-edged sword there. It's a V8 engine. It does run, just not very well. But I do believe it's rebuildable. These are chunks of the Bondo that pulled off the roof of the car. See the cross section of that? Pretty thick stuff. Not necessarily the best way to do body work. Here's the section that it came from, this little round area here. That's all one big hole. There's another piece that came out. Corrosion on the underside. And this is how the water is getting into the car. At least that's my prediction. The owner thought it was due to this crack here that's running along the windshield, but I think it was due to this hole. Here's the disgusting interior. See the mildew on the steering wheel. A lot of moisture in the floor pan. I don't think it's rotted through though. I did pull out that's the drain plug here. That way if any moisture gets into the car, it'll at least drain out instead of pulling up, causing even more corrosion. So it's a Nova Custom green, which I'll be changing that out. There's the driver's seat pretty much destroyed. So I have to buy new foam for the seat. Passenger seat seems to be okay, but I won't know until I pull off the seat covers. Back seat. Same thing for the back seat. Won't know if the foam is going to be salvageable until I pull the seat cover off. The rear floor pan, actually not in bad shape. There's a lot of surface rust. Same thing for the passenger side. You can see the surface rust there along the hatchback gate. And there's where the water was coming through. I don't know if you can see that. Just collecting all inside the car. Just basically acted as a conduit for all the water. Just send it all throughout the car. Lots of little areas like this, which I'll either weld or fill with lead. Smooth it over, you won't even know that seam's there. A lot of surface rust. But the quarter panel seemed to be fairly solid. Don't see much corrosion there actually, but I won't really know until I pull the paint off. See the hole in the deck lid. A lot of water was getting into there, collecting and then causing a lot of this underside rust, like this hole. Stick my finger in there. But the rest of it's fairly solid. Here's another problem with hatchbacks. You can see how they flex. Very weak in this area. So we'd pulling the skin off and welding some support in there. There's support shocks, or I'm not really sure what they call those. Have to replace those. And here's the trunk. The cover for the tire. I have to See all the pitting? I don't know if you can see that. Lots of pinholes like here and here. So that's pitted all the way through. Just gonna cut along the seam, weld in a new piece of sheet metal. And there's the trunk pan. You can see the holes next to that anchor bolt. Can't really find a floor pan for a hatchback yet for the trunk. Still looking, so I may have to just weld in a piece of sheet metal after I form it to fit. That's going to be kind of a challenge. Never done any sheet metal work. A lot of surface rust. See the moisture down here, the trunk. Not sure if any of this wiring harness is going to be salvageable. But for the most part, just have to clean a lot of this up. You can see the underside here is not too bad. Take a wire brush to be able to clean most of that up. But you can see here is pitting all throughout. And here's the back of the Nova. You can see 74s when you came out with these extended bumpers to account for the new federal regulations for 5 mile per hour impact. Fairly solid panels on both sides actually, but we'll know when we pull all the paint off. Rally rims, those will be painted white because this will be a Spirit of America clone. White interior, red carpeting, white exterior with a vinyl roof that goes to about here, that curves up, and you have your red and blue striping comes down. Pretty sharp. My 71 Pontiac Ventura, bought it off of eBay. You can see the big difference between the rear ends. And the other part about the 74 I don't really like is this kind of cover plate. A 72 and earlier had a kind of a chrome and black striping here, kind of like a grill. So I'll either replace it with that or I'll fill in this seam because this seems more like an afterthought. And then we'll black out the grill. Maybe install some white signal light covers there. Make it all blend in nicely. I'm not sure about the bumper. I may try to recess that bumper a little more. I don't like it sticking out like that. Here's my 71 Pontiac Ventura. You can see the paint blushing, that discoloration. This is the original paint job. There's some patching I did a while back to keep it from rusting until I could afford to paint it. There's the front end of a Pontiac Ventura. So there's a Ventura. There's the Nova. You can see the differences. Nova actually stands for Chevy Nova, Oldsmobile Omega, Pontiac Ventura, and Buick Apollo. Ventura 2. Like I said, a lot of work to do on this car too. Not nearly as much as the Nova.